Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Spiritual Transformer. So, today I want to talk about everybody's favorite, most important subject money. And I want to talk about money as it pertains to spirituality. So, a lot of spiritual teachers out there teach that money is just a form of energy. And in a way, you can kind of see that. I mean, money flows, money comes in, money goes out, right? So maybe money as energy isn't such a far fetched thing, but it's something that one can understand intellectually, but it may take a bit to integrate it, to see how it feels, and to know it, to believe it. And what I'm about to say, well, I can't take full credit for because I got it from this book. So this is Energy Speaks by the author is Lee Harris. Lee Harris is a world-renowned channel and intuitive, and he actually came to my city just a few weeks ago, and I had the pleasure of seeing him, which is where I got this book. It's a autograph book, by the way, so that's why I kind of had to have it since I haven't read it yet. So, in this book, Lee Harris had an exercise about money, just a quick visualization exercise, and the exercise is really quite simple, but for me, it really helped me see money as a form of energy, so to speak. So the exercise involves picture you getting $100,000 just dropped out of the blue into your lap. Close your eyes and see how it feels. How does it feel to have just $100,000 given to you, right? And a lot of stuff might come up, right? You may feel a bit of fear, maybe. You may feel happy. You may feel questions of whether or not you're worthy of it. So that's the kind of exercise it is. You just imagine $100,000 dropping into your lap and seeing how it feels. What kind of blockages are there? But that's not the end of the exercise. So after you internalize, like, how does it feel to have $100,000 dropped in your lap, you're supposed to multiply it by 10. So after that, it's $1,000,000. See how that feels. Then after that, it's $10 million. See how that feels. And then after that, it's $100 million, and on it goes until you hit your limit, right? And I tried this exercise, and it was quite eye-opening. Like $100,000, imagine $100,000 dropped in your lap is relatively easy to do. You can win it in the lottery, you can inherit it. If you get a bit lucky, actually, very, very lucky, something like that could happen to you. And it's not 100% life-changing money, but I would say it's just life-resetting money. $100,000 is enough to pay off some of your debt, maybe even all of your debt. Let's see, $100,000 is enough for you to maybe start a small business if that's what you want. And $100,000 is, heck, you can even spend it to go on your dream vacation or put a down payment on a house. It's $100,000 really easy to internalize and not much of a challenge to imagine dropping into your lap. So then I go to $1,000,000. So I picture like $1,000,000 dropping in my lap, and $1,000,000 is actually it's quite the number, because it's just barely enough to be life-changing, but also not enough to really do the stuff of your dreams. In my city, you can't even buy a house with $1,000,000 in some places. And maybe if you got a mortgage, it might not even cover the whole mortgage. $1,000,000 isn't enough to retire on unless you leave the big city, find some place with a lower cost of living, and go 100% completely frugal. So $1,000,000 to me feels a little weird. It's great, but also kind of not. it puts you in this really weird mood. Of course, I would love it if $1 million dropped in my lap, but I think it's more interesting to just jump ahead and go, well, what happens if $10 million drop in my lap? Now, this is where it gets interesting. $10 million, you could still win that in a lottery, so it's not 100% completely far fetched. Wow, $10 million dropping in your lap, now that's life changing money. That's, oh man, that's retirement money. You don't gotta work no more again. And you could buy a dream home if you're being modest and still have a ton left over for to do whatever you want to do. It's $10 million, life changing money, dream making money. And for me, it was really easy to picture, how life would be with it. And then we go to 100 million. 100 million that's when I started pushing my limit. That's when I start getting, whoa, man, $100 million. Can I really handle all that money? Like, if $10 million is enough to buy you a great dream home in a city, 100 million is enough to buy you a great home anywhere in the world, right? You could live anywhere, and you could just live a life of leisure. It's mind-blowing amount of money, but it's also approaching kind of like my limit. But even so, I decided, well, how would it feel for me if I had $1 billion? And this one gets really, really, really interesting, at least for me, and really show me like what it means for money to equal energy. Because I picture myself with $1 billion. Forget about how I'm going to get $1 billion in the first place. But if I had it, like, what the heck would I even do with it? I have no idea. Sure, maybe I can get, I don't know. Can I buy a private plane for $1 billion? Can I get a super yacht for $1 billion? I don't even know. And I don't even care. Like, I'm basically a homebody anyway. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to float at sea. I don't need to fly whenever I want. I'm just happy staying home. And here's when I kind of got a bit of a breakthrough. I realized that one of the best ways to use $1 billion as to what you would do if you had $1 billion drop in your lap would just give it away to charity. And that's shocking to me because I normally don't think that way. But as I think about it, what am I going to do with $1 billion? Well, I start a foundation. I go into philanthropy. I mean, $1 billion is a lot of money. I personally have no idea how I could live with it other than just to like give it away. And for the first time in my life, now I understand why billionaires start foundations, go into philanthropy, because there's just not that much you can do with $1 billion if you're not Elon Musk, I guess, right? Just an ordinary Joe with $1 billion, not much you can do. Just give it, make the world a better place, right? Now, look, I'm no spring chicken. Wasn't born yesterday. I know a lot of wealthy people start foundations for tax purposes, not necessarily for altruistic purposes, but you can. Personally, I donate the money to animal-related stuff, animal shelters, zoos. Man, I can do a lot with $1 billion plus, So that's kind of where I got the idea that money equals energy. Because when I started thinking about what I would do if I had $1 billion, the thing that I didn't want to do was hoard it. Which is so weird because you normally think that's what people would do, but I didn't want to hoard it. It felt like money equals energy at that point because I just kind of wanted to flow. Like, if I have it, I kind of don't want to keep all of it because I kind of want it to flow. Like, energy is meant to flow, to go out there. And I think money is the same. Like, you study economists, money literally is what makes the economy go around. It's not It's more important for money to move, to be spent, because that's where the dynamic action is. Once money is spent, things happen. So it's more important for money to be spent than money to be hoarded. And when I picture myself with $1 billion, I felt the exact same way. Didn't feel like it was worth hoarding. It's much better spent on like helping out a hospital, add another wing, or helping a zoo keep its animals happy, or anything like that for the environment even. Something altruistic, something bigger than yourself. And yeah, like I said, that's when I did this exercise, it's the first time I realized why philanthropy is such a big deal amongst the ultra wealthy, because it's literally like one of the only things you can really do with that kind of cash. So that's my big lesson learned. Now, my limit was $1 billion. I tried to multiply that by 10 and going to $10 billion, and my feelings is exactly the same. If I had $10 billion drop into my lap, I would still give it to philanthropy, because it's just nothing I can spend that would be worth $1 billion. And that's, for me, that's where the exercise ended at 10 billion, which is essentially exactly how it feels when I had 1 billion. It's just letting money flow, giving it away to charity. But I realized that that's my limit. That's my limit before I realized that it's time to start letting it flow, time to start letting the energy go. But other people, I know one person very close to me who says if they win the lottery, they would give away a huge chunk to their friends, like almost immediately. Like, I don't think there's a limit. Like, I don't think it's like it has to be X amount. It's just if that person gets their hands on a huge chunk of cash, it's going out to friends and relatives and stuff. I'm not like that. It took me into in this mind exercise. It took me to $1 billion before I realized, hey, it's time to like spread it around. But if you try this exercise, and I highly recommend you do, because it might be very interesting for you to find out how you feel about money. Maybe for you, like, you start giving away at the 10 million mark, because that's just the kind of person you are. Does that mean I'm selfish, waiting for $1 billion before I give it away? Yeah, probably, but I ain't gonna judge myself. It's just what happens. I think the most important thing to learn here is that money isn't meant to be hoarded. It's meant to flow. It's meant to flow like energy does. I mean, if you picture a balloon, right? And the air inside the balloon is energy. Well, eventually, if you fill up a balloon too much, hoard too much, so to speak, something's got to give. And in the case of the balloon, it pop. And then all the energy just scatters. You may as well just channel the energy somewhere where you want it to channel, like to philanthropy, rather than just let it scatter to the wind when the balloon pops. Sounds kind of like a economic bubble, doesn't it? Well, anyway, that's my conclusion. Anybody interested? I do highly recommend you try this exercise for yourself. Just picture money dropping in your lap and see how it feels like, and then keep going bigger amounts. Yep, that's it for me. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. This is the Spiritual Transformer, and I will see you next time. Bye. Peace.